Ya pemirsa, Anda masih bersama dengan saya Bunga Cinka di Prime Words CNBC Indonesia dan masih juga bersama dengan Duta Besar Belanda untuk Indonesia, His Excellency Lambert Grijns. Okay, Your Excellency, let's continue our discussion about Netherlands. This one is about economic recovery. So, economic recovery during the pandemic turns out to be a lot of challenges like food and energy crisis. Like, what is the current state of inflation in Netherlands?
Yeah, we see that worldwide there's a pretty high inflation, around an average of 8%. In the Netherlands, you see an inflation which is even a bit higher at the moment. We almost hit 9% inflation this year. Although now recently, over the last couple of months, you see that inflation in the Netherlands is slowly decreasing. According to our central bank, inflation next year will be around 4%, even a bit lower. So it is going to decrease. Yes, there are many different reasons for that. The economic recovery, very fast, strong demand, supply problems in China, the energy prices which go up because of the Russian invasion into Ukraine and the instability which has created that Russian invasion, and the food crisis. On food, that's very interesting. We see that Russia is deliberately attacking the food infrastructure in Ukraine. They're bombing food warehouses, food storages, the silos, railway line storage, the stations. They're blocking the shipping lines, so no ships with Ukrainian food can leave the country. At the moment, around 20 million tons of grain is waiting to be exported, but it cannot be exported because of the Russian blockade. So the consequence of that, because Ukraine is kind of the grain producer of the world. It's one of the most important wheat producing countries, wheat and barley, and fertilizers. So the consequences of that Russian policy is we will see it everywhere. In my country, we will see it in Indonesia, but you will see it in particular in poor countries in Africa, which are very much dependent on the import of Ukrainian grain. Apparently, more than 350 million people worldwide are dependent on food from that region. So there's a huge risk that if Russia continues with this perverse policy, 350 million people will starve from hunger. We have seen the visit of President Jokowi last week to Kiev and to Moscow. I think that was a very welcome visit. Indonesia is a big country. It is president of the G20. It is the fourth most populous country. It is one of the biggest democracies in the world. So yes, that is the thing you need to do if you are the leader of a big country.
What types of goods or services are most affected by the price increase due to the inflation in Netherlands?
Yeah, you see a mixture of things happening. Of course, energy is becoming very expensive. The gas we need to heat our homes, the fuel we need to ride our cars. But also the price of food is clearly increasing because of the food crisis we just discussed, and the price of labor. There's a shortage of labor. The economy has been doing quite well, but because of a shortage of labor, the salaries are increasing as well.
Okay, so Your Excellency, one of the agenda at G20's meeting which will take place in Bali, Indonesia in November is to discuss a joint economic recovery measures. So what does the Netherlands want to suggest regarding to the economic recovery in the big forum, regarding to the economic recovery?
Yeah, well, we are very happy that we can join the G20 meetings this year. There are dozens of meetings. Actually, we'll have the foreign ministers meeting, of course, and there will be the summit of heads of state and heads of government in November. Our contribution there will be a very constructive one. We want to be a constructive partner to G20. We want to support the Indonesian presidency in making it a successful G20. So that's what we are committed to. More specifically, we'd like to, for instance, focus on helping reduce the differences between countries. Some countries are really in a very difficult situation at the moment because of their high external debt. So focusing on reducing external debt is one of the priorities. The second priority is helping elaborate the commitment which was already made last G20 summit in Rome on taxes. Last year, as you may remember, there was a breakthrough on international taxes and on the taxes which different countries are using in their own country. Well, there needs to be done a lot of work to make that system of harmonizing of taxes work. That's our second priority. Of course, there will be a lot of discussions on health. We think we have passed the COVID pandemic, but at the same time, we see now in some countries COVID coming back slowly, not as dangerous as it used to be, but we have to focus on pandemic preparedness. Maybe now COVID, maybe next year it can be something else. So we need to discuss our pandemic preparedness, and we are ready as the Netherlands to contribute to that issue. Actually, I just talked to the Minister of Health in Indonesia last week. We had a Dutch delegation on health. There was a trade mission on health here a couple of weeks ago. So also in our bilateral relations with Indonesia, we see that health is a very important topic. We think we can contribute with expertise from the Netherlands, but also working together with Indonesia. One example will be that early next year, the World Health Organization, the WHO, will host, there will be a WHO session. It will be co-chaired, co-presided by Indonesia and the Netherlands together on local manufacturing of, for instance, vaccines. So that is, of course, a huge issue, how we can be better prepared to produce our own vaccines. Now, Indonesia and the Netherlands are working together in that respect. But there are more issues which we hope can be raised at the G20. Gender equality is an issue which we have to keep on addressing since there are so many challenges in that respect. And I already talked, I think, at length about the need to invest in energy transition and working towards a climate-neutral future in all countries. Some countries, like Indonesia, for instance, really have to invest a lot to go through that energy transition. The same holds for my country, with the Netherlands. Now, how can we help each other in such a way that energy transition and working towards a climate-neutral future is something all countries can achieve within only a few years? We don't have much time left, so we really need to step up our efforts in investing in a climate-neutral future.
How does the Netherlands view on this new capital city project, and what types of investment that Netherlands interested in?
Yeah, element which might be interesting for Dutch companies is water management, the drainage, the drinking water facilities, sewage water. It's typically a sector where Dutch companies have a lot of expertise would be ready to share and invest in the new capital city.